Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Lifesculptors podcast. I'm your host, Dante Poole. Man, so great to be back here having conversation with you. This is the place where we read a children's book and have an adult conversation about meanings that are hidden in between the pages and the words and the character and the story itself. And man, it is just so much fun to unpack life together with you. And I'm grateful for you. Grateful that you keep showing up, that you keep engaging, you keep allowing my voice to be a part of the journey with you. And if you haven't already, would you like, subscribe, and share this podcast with others? Because I'm telling you, I think it's adding value to people's lives. It's helping me sometimes more than it's helping you. So I am so grateful for the opportunity. Today, I always start with a question that has been on my mind this week. And this week's question is, what happens when vulnerability has been historically expensive? Uh, I'm not talking about dramatic vulnerability. No, and I'm not even talking about like oversharing. Just closeness. Just, yeah, being known, being needed, being seen. What happens when that cost you something before? Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about when that thing happened, and now you're showing up real interesting and special in these times. Oh, this book today, mm, it's "Love Finds a Way" by Vern Kousky. I think is how you say it. Kousky. Kousky. Vern Kousky. Love finds a way. Always a simple story. In this story, it's about a bird and a dog, right? The bird decides he wants nothing to do with love. So he puts in some protections. He gets himself a dog. And the dog is there to make sure love does not get near him. Oh, I'm going to read the book because I want you to see what happens. And then we'll talk more about what's happening beneath the story. Love finds a way. Oscar, name of the bird, was always worried that one day love would find him. Y'all, he is hanging up a sign on a tree that says no trespassing. And all the little other animals are trying to bring him flowers, they're trying to get close to him. He could feel it out there, somewhere in the forest, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. There had been some way, there had to be, he said, some way to keep love away. I mean, he's got on a helmet and he's got a shield and he's got a broom trying to shoo love away. Oscar tried one thing after another until at last he knew the answer. He would get a ferocious dog. Y'all, the dog is marching like it's on a mission. And now Oscar hangs up a sign that says, "Beware of the dog." By the way, the dog's name is Brutus. Oscar named the dog Brutus and taught him how to growl, grrr, and bark, and chase. Brutus was very good at his job. So after the first day, Oscar rewarded him with a friendly scratch. And after the second day, he gave Brutus a tasty treat. Then after the third day, y'all, Brutus is chasing those squirrels away. Oscar played a fun game of fetch with Brutus, who wished it would never end. Brutus is wagging that tail. Now, when it rained, Brutus would lie by Oscar's chair, and when it was cold, he would sleep in Oscar's bed. At last, Oscar felt completely safe. With Brutus by his side, there was no way love would ever reach him. Then one day, Brutus did not return from guarding the yard. Oscar searched and searched, but he could not find Brutus anywhere. Now, there was no one to protect Oscar, no one to growl or bark or chase. And love was getting closer and closer and closer until dun, 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 Brutus shows up with a bunch of flowers in his mouth. But Oscar finally found out, as Brutus is slurping him and licking him in the face, love wasn't anything to worry about. Oscar changed his sign, y'all, from no trespassing to welcome. The end. Love finds a way. Man. Let me ask you something. What exactly is Oscar the bird protecting? Was it peace? Was it control? Autonomy or predictability? See, I don't think Oscar hates love. He just doesn't want love to be disruptive to his life. And I wonder how many of us avoid love. We or maybe we don't avoid love. Maybe what we're doing is we're avoiding exposure. We avoid what closeness requires. See, when someone gets emotionally close to you, what happens to your body? Like, more importantly, what happens in your body? Do you lean in? Or do you subtly recalibrate? And you do recalibrate. Not dramatically, right? Not like, oh my gosh, and running away, right? Like just enough to steady yourself. Maybe you redirect the conversation. Maybe you just get more productive. You get busy doing things. Maybe you intellectualize or you increase your independence. Not because you don't care, but because something in you tightens. You haven't been able to identify what that is yet. See, we talk about frustration tolerance, right? It's the ability to endure inconvenience without being irritable or overreacting. But what if this is not this issue? What if this thing that we are struggling with is not frustration tolerance, but what if what we're struggling with is vulnerability tolerance? See, vulnerability tolerance, it's the capacity to remain emotionally present and regulated when being seen, known, or dependent feels risky. I'll read it again. Vulnerability tolerance is the capacity to remain emotionally present and regulated when being seen, known, or dependent feels risky. Now, not when it feels comfortable. No. When it feels risky. See, when someone asks a deeper question, or when they when someone expresses a need to us, when someone moves closer emotionally, if vulnerability tolerance is low, protection becomes automatic. I mean, it's not even something you think about, and it's not malicious. No. It's automatic. It just kicks in. It's part of the system designed to protect you. There's some research around this, y'all. And research around adult attachment says that when closeness has historically led to instability or criticism or loss, we just adapt. We don't become cold. We just become self-protective. And some other studies even show that a person can appear to be calm on the surface in an intimate conversation while their body are showing signs of stress activation. Huh. Oh man, it's like the duck that looks smooth going across the pond, but underneath those legs are paddling. The nervous system, y'all, reacts before the narrative does. See, the conversation and the thinking that you're having with yourself, that is operating behind the nervous system. The nervous system's out front already. It recognizes something that feels like a threat and it kicks into protect mode. So I want you to know that the body remembers what the mind minimizes. So when closeness increases, some people shift towards productivity or competence or distance. And this is not rejection, y'all. This is regulation. It's our body's attempt to regulate us because it senses some kind of threat or stress. But here's a harder question for you. Do you still need that level of protection? Because what protected you at one stage in your life may now be limiting you in this season of your life. See, when Bird brought the dog in, he thought he was installing a barrier. But what happened? Proximity happened. They shared space, they had routines, they had presence, and slowly, not dramatically, slowly, his tolerance shifted. It's not that Bird surrendered to love. It's like he's like, oh, no. He acclimated. He acclimated. I find that interesting because growth rarely looks like just going and tearing down all the walls. It looks like staying 30 seconds longer in a moment that historically has felt uncomfortable. It looks like not withdrawing immediately. Or it looks like noticing the urge to protect and choosing to remain. Let me ask you something more specific. When someone depends on you emotionally, do you feel grounded or pressured? When someone wants to know you more deeply, do you feel connected or slightly destabilized? When someone gets close to you, do you feel chosen or exposed? See, and there's no shame in noticing the answer to these questions, right? This is not about shaming you. This is not saying, hey, there's something wrong with you. No, that's not what we're saying here. What I'm talking about is how we self-protect. That's not a weakness. It is a function. And sometimes that function is not serving us well. And so if vulnerability has been expensive before, your nervous system learned something. Maybe it learned that closeness is dangerous. It shifts, that love can be critical. Maybe it learned that integrity can cost connection. When I'm honest, when I'm telling you what I really feel, you might withdraw, you might go away, so I don't get vulnerable. Whatever it learned, it adapted. Your nervous system adapted to what it learned. Because protection, it reduces risk for sure. But I'm trying to tell you, capacity, it increases our tolerance for things. We need greater capacity, not greater protection. And maybe maturity isn't about loving more. Maybe it's about increasing our tolerance for being known. And if vulnerability tolerance is low, y'all, even small amounts of exposure feel big. They just feel so big. And if vulnerability tolerance grows, exposure becomes less threatening. We don't feel threatened when someone steps closer. When who we are is and it becomes more known. When people see us. Hmm. And this is not because risk disappears, right? This is not about the risk going away. No, no. It's because our capacity has expanded. Uh, so the question isn't, are you loving well? The question might be, how much vulnerability can you tolerate before your protection activates? And is that level still serving your life? Mm, 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 mm. Maybe this isn't that you've been looking for love in all the wrong places. Hmm. Maybe your nervous system has adapted a strategy that keeps you from being vulnerable. Because listen, protection can keep you safe, but protection can also keep you distant. See, the bird thought he needed a barrier, but what he may have needed was capacity. Hmm. And maybe some of you don't need more independence, right? Maybe what we need is more tolerance. Maybe the ability to stay present even when closeness feels risky. Yeah. Maybe we need more steadiness when being seen feels exposing. Maybe we need more regulation when being needed feels destabilizing. Yo, hmm. So this week, I don't want you to tear down every wall. Let's just go in your life and like, yeah, I'm tearing down all the barriers. I'm just gonna get wrong. No, that's not what I want. I want you to just notice. Pay attention this week. No, notice when protection activates. I want you to notice how when you subtly withdraw. Notice when you redirect. Uh, and instead of judging it, ask, is this protection necessary right now? Sometimes I just have to talk to myself and I have to say, hey, it's okay. This is safe. We're all right. Mm. Ah, And, and sometimes I have to ask the question, is if this old reflex is occurring in a new moment, is it an old reflex in a new moment? Because vulnerability tolerance is not a moral measure. It's not about right or wrong, good or bad. That's not what this is. It's developmental. And if it's developmental, it can grow. But growth happens slowly, y'all, incrementally. It doesn't happen in big pieces. It happens through presence, right? And you don't have to lose yourself because you grow in your tolerance for vulnerability. See, bird didn't lose himself. He just expanded. And maybe that's the work. Not forcing vulnerability, but increasing your tolerance for it. And maybe the cost of closeness isn't always as high as your nervous system once learned it to be. I'll leave you with this thought. If vulnerability has been historically expensive, are you still paying interest on something that no longer requires a debt? Yeah, see, mm, I just want you to think about why you run from vulnerability. Okay. All right. I'm so grateful for Love That Finds a Way by Vern Kousky. It gets us thinking about our own vulnerability tolerance. Hmm. You know what I'm going to tell you, right? First, again, I'll remind you, like, subscribe, share. Somebody needs this conversation. Somebody needs this help. I'm here to help if you need it. Just reach out. Send me a message. Yeah, send me a message. You can send it through a DM, whatever, email, whatever you need to do. Dante at lifesculptors.com. .org. I'm sorry, .org. Lifesculptors. .org. Don't even know my own email address. It's craziness. Dante at lifesculptors.org. Reach out. Let me know. And remember this. You're exactly enough. Until next time.